So hello class, let's start with your inorganic pharmaceutical chemistry rationalization. Let's start with the first question. Ammoniated mercury is also known as calomel, corrosive sublimate, lunar caustic, and white precipitate. So the answer here is letter D. White precipitate is also known as your ammoniated mercury. It contains not less than 98% of your mercury, um, ammoniated chloride. So, or your ammoniated mercury. The component is mercury, nitrogen, 2 molecules of hydrogen, and your chlorine. The chemical compound is HgNH2Cl. This compound is used as a dusting powder against eczema and parasitic skin diseases and is classified as local infective. So it has a useful effect against low-grade staphylococcus infections. So ammoniated mercury, in short, is a local infective. And take note, it is also known as your white precipitate. So next question, ray which have no mass and no charge but of very high energy and excellent penetrating power are called your gamma rays. Gamma rays are much more penetrating than alpha or beta particles, and it passes through great thickness of metal or other metal of low atomic weight without complete absorption. So the production of gamma rays may be due to the vibration of protons and neutrons rearranging themselves after the emission of a beta or alpha particle. So your gamma rays again has no mass, no charge, but has a very high energy and penetrating power. Okay? Number 3, examples of antacids which cause rebound hyperacidity. Your answer here is letter C, or also known as sodium bicarbonate and calcium carbonate. So the mechanism of action of your sodium bicarbonate is to neutralize all the stomach acids and impart a slightly alkaline reaction to the gastric fluids. They have the same mechanism of action with the calcium carbonate. Okay? So take note of that. Your A, B, and D are also antacid. However, they does not cause rebound hyperacidity. Number 4, which an ion evolves a gas with a fruity odor when treated with a concentrated sulfuric acid and ethanol? The answer here is letter B, that is also known as your acetic acid. So this will lead to the formation of ester ethyl acetate, which possesses the characteristic odor, which is the fruity odor. So remember, kapag acetic acid, yung result ng odor niya is fruity odor. If treated with concentrated sulfuric acid and ethanol. So concentrated sulfuric acid plus ethanol will result to your acetic acid, or plus acetic acid will result to a fruity odor, which is your ester ethyl acetate. Okay? Number 5, which buffer system has been modified to include sodium chloride to make it isotonic with physiologic fluid? The answer here is Sorensen's phosphate buffer. So, the Sorensen phosphate buffer system covers a range of 5.8 to 8 and has the greatest buffer capacity at 6.7. So, cover range ng phosphate buffer natin is 5.8 to 8, and it has the greatest capacity at 6.7 pH. Your Sorensen's phosphate buffer is important in as a buffer system in ophthalmic drugs such as your eye drops, as the ions present are normally found in the eye. So they have the same pH with that of your eyes, and the pH range includes your isohydric point of tears. So yung Sorensen's phosphate buffer is used as a buffer in your ophthalmic drugs such as your eye drops. Okay, with a pH of, again, 5.8 to 8, and has the greater buffer capacity at pH 6.7. Okay, take note of that. Number 6, which of the following sulfides is orange to red in color, insoluble in ammonia, but soluble in excess ammonium sulfide? So, the answer here is Sb2S3, which is your stibum sulfide, resulting to an orange-red precipitate formed when hydrogen sulfide is passed through a solution of an antimonous compound or your stibium, and the result is the precipitate orange to red, which is also soluble in hydrochloric acid and in alkali hydroxides. So, in short, your stibium sulfide, your stibium sulfide is the result of addition of hydrogen sulfide plus your antimony. So, antimony plus hydrogen sulfide will result to stibium sulfide or your antimony sulfide, resulting to a precipitate of color orange to red. Okay. And also, that compound produced is also soluble to your hydrochloric acid and in fixed alkali hydroxide such as your magnesium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, and other types of hydroxides. Okay. Number 7, artificial air is used therapeutically to alleviate difficulties in respiration. It contains your 20% of oxygen and 80% of helium. So, the specific gravity is 1/3 that of the air or oxygens. Because of the lighter weight, the effort required in breathing of patients with severe asthma is decreased. So, your artificial air, take note, contains 20% oxygen and 80% helium with a specific gravity of 1/3 that of the air or oxygen. Number 8, which of the following is a mixture composed chiefly of potassium polysulfide and potassium thiosulfate? So, a mixture meaning potassium polysulfide plus your potassium thiosulfate will result to this compound, which is your sulfurated potash, letter B. This substance is not a true chemical compound. It is a mixture composed of potassium polysulfide and potassium thiosulfate. Other synonyms of your sulfurated potash is, take note, sulfurated potassa, liver of sulfur, and hepar sulfuris. There are 3 other synonyms: sulfurated potassa, liver of sulfur, and hepar sulfuris. A 10% ointment has been used for acne, scabies, ringworm, psoriasis, and tinea versicolor. So, 10% of your sulfurated potash will result to ointment for the treatment of acne, scabies, ringworm, psoriasis, and tinea versicolor. Okay. Number 9, the energy required to remove an electron from neutral atom is your ionization potential. So this is the measure of energy required to remove an electron by overcoming the attractive force of the nucleus. So the removal of electron is also known as your ionization potential. Number 10. The following are elements which form basic anhydrides except your sulfur. So your calcium, sodium, and magnesium are your basic elements for in order to form a basic anhydrides. Basically, these are your metals or your group 1A of the periodic table. So metals are capable of forming anhydrides, while your non-metals are capable of forming oxides. So take note of that. Again, metal are capable of forming basic anhydrides. Metal is to basic anhydrides. Your non-metal is to oxides. So the answer here in number 10 is letter D. Your sulfur is a non-metal, so it forms your oxides. Your calcium, sodium, and magnesium are metals, and it is capable of forming basic anhydrides. Okay, number 11, simethicone containing antacids contains simethicone as letter A, antacid, B, anti-foaming agent, C, flavorant, and D, protective. So the answer here is anti-foaming agent. The other use of your simethicone is it is used as an anti-flatulent in gastric bloating and in post-operative gaseous distension in GIT. So your simethicone is used as a pharmaceutical. The pharmaceutical use of your simethicone is your anti-foaming agent, and its pharmacologic use is used as anti-flatulent and in gastric bloating and in post-operative gaseous distension in GIT. Okay, number 12, which element is used as glucose tolerance factor? That is your chromium. So, shortcut nyo na lang kapag nabasa nyo yung glucose tolerance factor, that is automatically connected to your element chromium. Number 13, which of the following elements was the first element produced artificially? That is your letter D, Tc, or that also known as your technetium, from the Greek word teknetos, meaning artificial. It was so named because it was the first element produced artificially.